Hey guys, this is going to be a video all about my most used brushes. I got a comment a while back and I'm just now getting around to doing this. This is an e.l.f. blush brush. I bought this one a long time ago, and when I looked it up on the website before doing this video, it looks like the one that's on the website is different now, so I'm not sure if this exact one is still available, but that's not really important. It's more the shape that's important, and that's why I'm including it in this video. I use this mainly for applying setting powder, and I do that because it has kind of a flat side, and you can do that with any brush that's got a flat side. I just happen to like this because there's no obvious cutoff. It's tapered really nicely along the sides, so you don't get any weird hard edges with this. My next most used brush is this type of blush brush that's got natural hair and in this type of shape. And I picked out 3 here that they're all pretty much the same from different brands. This is a MAC 168. This is a Morphe M405. And this is a Sigma at 40. The Morphe one is the cheapest. I think it's about 12 bucks, so you don't need to spend a whole lot, and I think it works just as well as the other two. I use this only for blush now. I used to use it for contouring, but then I found another brush that I like better, and now that's the one I use. And the reason I like to use this for blush is because of how it's rounded and tapered on the sides. I don't really even have to think about blending, just the act of applying blush in itself is blending the blush out. So the brush that I use for contouring is the Morphe M510, and that's this one right here. And I pulled in a couple of other brushes so you could see the size in comparison. This is just a normal blush brush. Here's a large blending eyeshadow brush and kind of a standard crease brush. And yeah, I like this one for contouring because I find this to be a little bit too big. It kind of blows the color out so much that it disappears. This is a little bit more controlled. This is a Morphe M433, and I use this for just like a standard crease brush. If I'm just going to use 1 or 2 colors, it's probably one of your more common sizes and shapes for a crease brush. Some other ones that are similar are the MAC 217. This is a synthetic version that they currently sell, and this is one of the original ones that they used to make with natural hair. And this is a Sigma E25. I also like this in particular versus some of these others for a really difficult to blend eyeshadow. The way the bristles are, they're kind of scratchy. They're a little bit stiff, so it's not like the nicest, softest thing ever, but it will really blend out an eyeshadow well. This is a Morphe M504. I bought this to replace this because this one was shedding a lot, and I still use it just like because sometimes this one's dirty or it's got a product on it that is going to interfere. And I like this for applying setting powder underneath the eyes to set my concealer or to knock off eyeshadow fallout, sometimes depending on the eyeshadow. Between these two, I actually like the Morphe one better. I think it's softer, a little bit more dense, it generally feels like better quality, and it's cheaper. So this next one is one that I use every single time that I do my makeup. This is the Morphe M160, and it's a smaller version of an angled brush, smaller and thinner. So I pulled in some other ones just to compare. This is a Sigma E65. This is one from e.l.f. This is a Sigma E06. And this is just an ABH brow brush. And when I say that it's thinner, I don't know if this is gonna show. I think it does show. I can get thinner lines, so it's nice to use for something like detailing the ends of the brows, or doing powder eyeshadow as eyeliner, or tight lining. It's a little bit small for filling in the brows. I can do it. It just takes a little bit longer. Another one that I use all the time is the Sigma E46. That's this one right here. Another one from Sigma that's very similar but just larger is the Sigma E56 here. And here's one from NYX that's got the same kind of shape to it. I use this one for applying shimmer eyeshadow in more of a detailed way. A lot of people will use their finger to apply shimmer eyeshadow to get more intensity out of it, and also more shine. And I find this brush will kind of apply it similar to that, but with more precision. So I can use maybe more shades or apply it in a smaller area. This is the Morphe M506, and out of everything that I'm talking about here today, this is probably my single most favorite brush. It is, for my eye size and shape, the best size for applying crease colors. I pulled in here the Morphe M433 so you can compare the size. I can get more detail out of this. It's small enough that I can use quite a few colors with it on one eye, but it's also large enough that if I just wanted to use one color, it doesn't take forever to blend it out over kind of a large enough area. This one is from e.l.f. and it is similar. I still prefer the Morphe one though, because it's got a little bit of a point. It's not totally pointed, but it doesn't leave any patchiness in the crease most of the time because of that. This is a Sigma E47, and this one is similar in size to the last one, the Morphe M506, but it is a little bit smaller and it's pinched at the ferrule. So it's got more of a thinner side, although mine's kind of been used so much that it doesn't really matter if I use it on the side or not. It's kind of rounded out by now. But I like this for getting even more detailed in the crease. I can use many colors with this on one eye. I'll use it to also apply inner corner highlight, or color underneath the lower lash line, or brow bone highlight. The next one I pulled in is a Sigma E36. That's this one right here. And next to it I have a Morphe M149. This is one from e.l.f. that comes in a pack of 5, I think. This is a Morphe M405. Here's one from NYX, and here's one from Sigma. I pulled this one in as one of my most used because I like the size of it. It's smaller than like something like this from Sigma, which is a standard size. And this, a lot of them have kind of a point. This one's got more of a point to it. This other one from Morphe also has a little bit of a point. I like this because it's got a rounded shape, so it offers more control. Something with a point I find flops around a little bit and kind of makes a mess. And this is just, it doesn't do that. It does what I want it to do. I find this one, like when I was buying this one, I was comparing it to this one as well. And they are so similar when you look at them on the website, but this one is a little scratchier and slightly more pointed, and between the two I prefer this one, the E36. This next one's not technically most used, but I wanted to include it here because I wouldn't want to be without it. This is the brush I'm talking about. It's actually an art brush that I think I bought at Michael's or a similar store, and I bought it because I couldn't find an eyeliner brush like this that's actually made for makeup that was as thin as I wanted it to be, so I just went with this one. And there may be some that are made for makeup that are that thin, I just didn't find one. So this one is one from Pretty Vulgar. This is a Sigma E05, and I use this one for like liquid eyeliner, gel eyeliner, or cake liner. I find like a standard eyeliner brush draws a line a little bit too thick, and if you've got hooded lids or just not much lid space to work with, being able to get thinner lines is nice to be able to do. This is another pencil brush that I use. This one's not available anymore. It's an It Brushes for Ulta brand, which they still sell that brand, but this exact brush isn't available on the website, at least not when I last looked. And I like it because it's synthetic and it has a nice rounded shape, and it is pretty dense. It holds its shape when you're applying product. I use it for applying concealer or blending out concealer that I've applied with a different brush. Especially around the eyes, like the inner corner where I have some blue veins, or even just like the dark circles area. I like to use a nice small brush like this. Another one that I use very often is the MAC, and what is this? MAC 231. It's a flat synthetic shader. A similar one here is from e.l.f., but it has a slightly different shape to it. This is some kind of generic one. It's I brought it in to show how the edges of this one are squared off, whereas this one has tapered edges, and I like that because of what I can use this for. And here's a MAC 239S just to compare size. So I'll use this for applying concealer, and I like it because I can get higher coverage than if I use just my fingers or a sponge, or even a brush that's made to apply concealer. For whatever reason, this one seems to apply the concealer a little bit with more coverage. It doesn't really apply it more heavily. It just, the way the bristles are, it applies it incredibly smooth. So I can almost get away without blending, but I will go in and blend after I apply. Also use this once in a while to apply lipstick, and that's where those tapered edges are nice. I don't know, this is a lip brush, and for me this type of lip brush doesn't work. I can't really get even, crisp lines, like especially around the Cupid's bow, with this shape. But with this one, it's a lot easier and a lot faster. The next one is a Sonia Kashuk small eyeshadow brush. And they make two more that are basically the same, but in different sizes. The next one up is the large eyeshadow brush here and the wide eyeshadow brush. For my eyes, I like this one. I have smaller eyes and this one works perfectly for me. I brought in a MAC 239S to compare the size and the shape. The reason I like this is because it has the stiffness that you would expect from a brush similar to it, like this MAC one, which means you can apply shadow to the lid and get pretty decent intensity out of it. But then because it's a little bit thicker and rounded at the top here, you can take that same color up into the crease and blend with the same brush, which is nice. I mean, you can save a step and save a brush. The last one I have is just a spoolie here, and I'm not tied to this one in particular, but this is just the one that I have. This is from e.l.f. and I will use a spoolie for combing out my brows and removing excess eyeshadow from my eyelashes and fallout from shimmer eyeshadows or even glitter. A lot of times I've seen people use a brush like this one to brush away fallout, and that will work a lot of the times, but if you're finding that it's sticking to the skin and this isn't working, then you can turn to something like this, and it's a lot easier to kind of grab those little particles and like dislodge them. So that's it for my most used eyeshadow brushes. To whoever answered or to whoever asked that question, I hope that this gave you whatever you were looking for. I probably will redo this at some point down the road. This was pretty much a struggle for me to do this video, just because I'm not used to doing this kind of video. So if you've got any suggestions for me, that would be nice. Some critiquing or whatever. Anyway, I hope this was informative and that you enjoyed.